Good evening, everybody. Apologies for a few minutes late starting. Hope you're all well. This is our week 6 professional networker training. So obviously the rolling program that we've been running. Before we get into that, just to go through any headlines, I've got a couple of bits of information that you might find useful as well. But literally we're going to go straight into this probably in about 10 minutes time. So get your pens ready, turn off any distractions, as I always say, and let's get scribbling. So just one piece of recognition that's come in from the team tonight, and that's for Julie, who's in Susan's downline. So Susan wanted to recognise her for hitting her first clean 9 sale, and she knows it's going to be the first of many. I know that Julie has not long finished her clean 9, so that is probably testament to that sale that's come through. So really well done. I wanted to actually give a special welcome to what is our youngest member of the team, which is Megan Elliott. Some of you will know that Megan used to do some admin for me. She's actually my next door neighbour's daughter. She's recently hit 18 and she's about to embark on the clean 9, so she joined with the clean 9, and then potentially we'll be looking at doing some retailing, maybe a little bit more once her exams have finished. That's exciting. With a new generation coming through. So let's see how that goes. So welcome to Megan. I wanted to give out a big congratulations to Lauren, who you may have seen, got married yesterday. I was very privileged to be at the wedding. It was absolutely fantastic. Amazingly well organised. I think she definitely has another job there for being a wedding coordinator. I was well impressed. And also a big shout out to all of those that are currently on the Phil Jones programme. I've obviously mentioned this previously, and this is a 31-day program that's been running through May. We're on day 15. So there's a new challenge set every day, and then there's training as well. And you kind of work through it at your own pace. Obviously, if you can do the daily challenges as each day comes, brilliant. But you're not under pressure if you can't, as long as you just keep on top of it, because you want to get the best out of it. And I'm seeing some real challenges pop up, which is good because people are challenging themselves. And what I love to see is we've got a little group that's set up of those that are on it. And it's just the support that's being given to one another. There was a thread going on earlier on, which I've kind of stayed out of. And I'm just really proud of really the growth, the personal growth that I'm seeing from the individuals. And I know that the results will start to come as they start to believe in themselves and start to do things perhaps a little bit differently. So really, really well done to everyone who's committed to that. I also wanted to give a congratulations to Kelly Edwards, Kez, who came with me to the London Excel. We went to the Expo expedition. I can't even say the word. I get right tongue-tied with that. Exhibition, even. Which was around the sales and marketing exhibition. It's run every year. Some very, very good speakers. I highly recommend it. And if you're clever enough, you can get tickets for free. And you get to choose, there's 2 days it runs. You get to go around the stands, and you can also go and listen in on a number of speakers, most of which you don't have to book. It is quite difficult to hear some of them because it's so busy in there. I think they could improve perhaps some of their training kind of space that they have, but all in all, a really, really worthwhile day. And it's just an eye-opener, really. If you're not perhaps used to that kind of business environment as well, I think that was really good for Kez to go along and see that. And we had the privilege of also spending 2 hours with Phil Jones. So he and I had agreed to meet for a coffee anyway, because it was Kelly Edwards' birthday. I said, why don't we go for a beer? So it was a 2-hour chat we had over beer and bubbles, which was invaluable for us, absolutely invaluable. And I know he's running a training right now, and he's going to announce something that he talked about with us on that day, which is really exciting. So again, if you want to, I think it's yesterday was the last day to get it for cheap, but he is rolling out this program, and I personally can't recommend it highly enough. If you want to just look at how you're running your business and the way you interact with people, he is a master at it. And if you want to know more about his program, then please do let me or your sponsor know. So before I get into the training for tonight, what I wanted you to do was I'm going to take a couple of things that I've learned off the program. So for those of you that are on here, that are on Phil Jones's program, you will have heard this before, but it won't hurt you to hear it again. I want you to ask yourself a couple of things, and I want you to get out your piece of paper and your pen right now, and I want you to just jot this down, because you may have been in the business only a short while, or you could have been in the business a long time. Either way, this question is relevant to us all. And I want you to ask yourself, firstly, how much extra money a month would you need to be making from this business right now to make it worth your time? What is going to make a difference to you now? Not in 6 months' time, not in a year's time, not in 5 years' time, but right now. If you could make an extra piece of cash each month that is going to make you say, do you know what? Actually, I've done the right thing with this business, and it's starting to give me what it is that I really want. Now, for most people, if I'm honest, that's normally just a couple of £100 or so, because the bigger money they know comes further down the line. And it's, as Phil quite rightly has taught us, you can't earn £1,000 until you're earning £200, and you can't earn £5,000 until you're earning £1,000. So we really need to just, whilst we've got to have really big, bold goals, we really just need to think right now, what is going to make a difference? What is going to make me work my business this week? Because what is it that I need to be ringing through at the end of the day? So write that down to start off with. You want to be honest with yourself. And then I also want you to think about something else. And, this will be really apparent. As I work through this training, we talk about plans for manager. And all of the really massive incentives that we've got in the business, which excite us all, yeah? We've just watched Global Rally. We've seen what is possible from this business. But I want to just strip that down for a moment, because we know that Rex has pulled a business model together that says being 4 case credit active is what he considers somebody to be building their business, not building a hobby. Because anything less than that potentially is a hobby. It's likely that your business is going to cost you money rather than earn you money. So 4 case credit in retail alone is equivalent to around about £1,000 at RRP, so recommended retail price. And it will give you a return, assuming you're selling all of that and you're not using it personally, of around about £330 as an assistant supervisor. Obviously, that will go up as you move through the marketing plan. So if you wrote down that you want an extra £200, maybe you wrote down you want an extra £300, it's really, really easy to see that if you do four case credits in retail, that shouldn't be your personal, because obviously if you've got 1 or 2 case credits in there of personal, that reduces how much profit you're going to make. And if there is one thing that I have taken from this program with Phil, it's that case credits are really important, but they do not pay into your bank. You couldn't go to your bank and your manager and you say, here's some case credits to put in. Case credits can cost you money if you don't manage your business in the right way. And I want all of you to take that away and really work on understanding how to make a profit. Because we're all in this business. If we're building our business, you're on here this evening, so the likelihood is you're not in this for a hobby. You're in this because you want to make some money. You only know what that amount of money needs to be each month because you just wrote it down right now. So if you want to, for example, earn, £200-300, what I want you to now do on that same piece of paper is really think about how much do you use. If you're brand new, then you won't necessarily understand this, but just bear with me. But if you've been around for a little while, this should make some sense. So how much do you use each month in personal case credits? So how many products are you using? You might not know the answer to this right now. Just write down the question. It's something you can do afterwards. So how much product are you using a month? And how many case credits does that generate? And then I want to ask yourself another question. How much does that cost you a month? So if you're getting, for example, I probably do about 1.5 case credits a month. What I want you to do is break down that case credit value into the exact product that you're purchasing, write down the cost of it, write down the case credit value, because case credits are still really important. They're what you're going to build your business on internally. It's where you're going to get your promotions and qualify for incentives. But I want you to know how much it costs you. So how much are you paying out, because it will be at wholesale because it's for you, How much is it costing you? So let's just say, for argument's sake, I'm just going to throw some figures out there. I haven't worked anything out here. Let's say you're ordering product each month that costs you £150 in wholesale. Okay, let's just assume that. Then I want you to say, how many regular customers do I currently have? And again, same principle, write them down. What is it that they're ordering? Is it monthly? Is it every other month? Is it every 3 months, 6 months, whatever that might be? Write down what they're ordering. Write down how much that costs you to purchase. And then write down what you sell it to that person for. So you might have somebody, like some of my close family or friend, I might give them a 15% discount or a 30% discount, for example. Or do you sell it at the RRP? So make sure for each product you break down, what do I buy it for? So what do I buy at wholesale and what do I sell it for? And many of you will know it's the difference between the two, which is your profit margin. So I want you to tally up that profit margin from your regular customers, work out the case credit value. So let's say with your regular customers, maybe you've got 5 regular customers and you're making, I don't know, let's say £50 a month in profit from your regular customers, okay? So at the moment, as it stands, you are spending £150 on yourself and you're making £50. So what does that mean? Most of you should know the answer to this. That means that as it stands at the moment with your regular customer and your personal case credits, you are at a loss of £100 because you're making a profit of 50 and you're spending 150. So you just deduct that 50 from 100 and it means that you're running at a loss of £100. So you might be doing 2 case credits in business each month, for example. You might do some extra. You might have your regular customers. You might do 2 case credits worth of product in addition to that. That's fine. But if you work it out, then you'll know how much money you're making versus how many case credits. So 2 case credits is great. That's super. It's half of what we need from you in order for you to be considered active. But you're running at a loss of £100. And that is not a profitable business. We need to get really smart with how we're managing our retail business because we can make money from this. And it's a great, great starting place. So then what I want you to do, now that you've understood this a little bit more, is consider the range. We've got a massive range of products, over 250 products in our range. It's overwhelming for many of us because what we're not doing is being really, really strategic about which parts of the product base excite us. So what I want you now to do is write down what 3 product lines do I really feel passionate about? Do I use every day? Do I comfortably feel that I could go out and start recommending? So it might be that you really feel really passionate about the drinking gel. It might be that you feel really passionate about the shake because you drink it yourself every day. Maybe you use a couple of supplements. Perhaps you use the RG. Maybe you're really into the beauty products and the Sonia skincare is something you use every single day. Perhaps it's the makeup. You need to decide which of these products am I excited about? Which of these products am I going to go out there and become a real ambassador for? That's not to say that you can't touch the rest of the products, but we're going to focus on these areas in order to build your business up to what you just said at the start and you needed to earn right now. And if you're earning that right now, then that's awesome. Really well done for you. But I believe that you'll probably be challenging yourself to say, actually, I need to be making more profit than I am. So once you've written down those 3 areas, what we now need to do is we need to identify how many of those would we need to sell each month in order for you to make the money that you need to make. Remember, based on the example that I just gave you, and it's an example, we're running at a loss of £100 currently. So if we have decided that we want to earn £300 a month, we have got to create £400 worth of profit from these 3 lines that we have just identified. So all you need to do is get out your brochure or your order form and get out the one that's got the breakdown different costs So your wholesale, your Novus and your retail price, and then just figure out, so if I sold 10 shakes, that would cost me in wholesale X amount of money, and if I sold it at retail, I would get this amount coming in. What would be my return? And write that number down. And write down what your case credit value would be from those 10 shakes. And then just continue this exercise until you have got the profit that you are looking for in order to make the money that you just said that you needed right now. Now, if you want to look at this a slightly different way, you could say, well, I want to be 5 case credit active, and I want to be 5 case credit active in product, and my recruiting is going to be in addition to that. But I am going to lead from the front, and I'm going to show my team how I'm going to be 5 case credit active. It's the same thing. You still can work with the same lines. What you've got to just make sure that you're doing is with your personal, your existing customers, plus what you're going to develop, that will then tell you whether or not you've hit your 5 case credits, but then you'll also know what profit that you're going to make out of that 5 case credit. I hope that makes some sense, and I hope that that's been useful, because it was an eye-opener for me. And I've just had to come through. Any chance we can go through this game, but on a video and using the flip chart? Absolutely, it's no problem at all. In fact, I was thinking of doing a video. I've just got to try and figure out how I could get the pod set up, but leave it with me. And I will definitely do it, because I think this is a really important exercise and something that I want everyone from day one to be considering. So don't panic if it didn't completely make sense. I can go through it again and put it on a video so that you've got it. But just remember this, and please, please, please start bearing this in mind with new people. I believe that a lot of people stop this business because they're not making that money that they need to make, that £200. And often the reason they won't be making that is they're concentrating on case credits, which is brilliant. I don't want to take that away, because it will move you through the marketing plan and get you to access the incentives I'm now going to talk to you about. But you have to be making money. If it's costing you money for too long a period of time, you'll give up. And that is not what we want you to do. And we don't want people that you're obviously bringing in. We want people to be succeeding and achieving their milestones along their way. And then a couple of other points just to add to that is, if you have existing customers or old customers that you've had and then they've gone just a bit quiet, have you reached out to them? Have you touched base with them just to see how they are? Because now is as good a time as any. You know, just touch base, see how things are going, how the family is, and then just ask them how they're getting on with the product. Is there anything that they're still using? Did they have any feedback? Do you really value it? And then perhaps just consider whether or not they might give perhaps one of your product lines a try. So I've been doing that this week with a couple of old or existing customers, because it is far easier to talk to people and ask them to try something else who are existing customers than brand new ones. So think about that. You know, I've literally been going out and saying, look, if you're nearing the end of your makeup range, would you be interested in trialing something out of mine? They pay for it. They can do, so it's part of the trial pack that we talk about up until now. So you could do that with your existing customers. But what about existing team? Given what I've just talked about, how many of your team have dropped off? How many never got started? Now guess what? They may just not have the desire to do it. Why don't you touch base with them? Why don't you give them a call? Why don't you leave them a nice voice message on Facebook and just check in and see how they are, how the family is, touch base, and then just ask them, how's it going? What was it that made you stop your business? And do you think that you would ever look to get going? What can I do to help? And then have a conversation, maybe arrange a coffee or a Skype. You never know. They might be wanting to come back and talk to you, but they're just too worried because they might be a bit embarrassed about it. So don't be afraid to be the first person to reach out. So that was just a little bit of counsel, really, just that I hope will be helpful. And any questions at all that you've got, then please feel free to shout. So popping on to then week 6 of our professional networker training. We are in our final run. So reviewing week 5, we should have our story written down. And if you're struggling with this, again, don't be shy. Don't hide and, suffer in silence. Talk to your sponsor, talk to me. Because this is really important. This is something you need to get super comfortable with so that you can then go out and start talking to people, be brave and courageous enough to share with them what it is that you're doing. I skipped the 1 minute video of your story, unless you wanted to do that on your own. I didn't feel it was completely necessary for us right now to be recording that, but it's great to watch it back rather than have it sent out to people. So it's a good use of your time in order to develop your story for yourself. And then we're going to make our prospecting calls. We're going to go out there and make those calls that perhaps we've been putting off that really didn't need to be that difficult. So we're going to book in some one-to-ones, which I'm hoping you do. Remember what I said. Your business is only growing as often as you've got appointments in your diary. A hairdresser or an electrician, if they've no appointments in their diary, they're not doing anything, they're not earning any money. And we're exactly the same. I can see that my diary is getting busy with appointments, and I know that that is going to be ringing the till. Develop your 20 to 30 regular customers, and again, I've just given you tips of how to do that. Follow up on current customers. See how they're doing, make sure you're looking after them. If they've bought some product for you, how they're getting on. Build your team, 5 to 10 messages per day, and build your pipeline and use that point sheet to make sure that you're focusing on the right areas. Now, I don't know whether you're doing this. Only you can decide whether you are doing what we know works in the business. And I have been there where I've tried to reinvent the wheel, or I've skipped a piece of the jigsaw because I felt like I didn't need to do it. But actually it will hold you back, because if it's a missing piece of the jigsaw, we're not working the system. And I can promise you it will just slow you down. So we do teach this because we know that it will help you and it will work. But if there's an area you're struggling with or even avoiding, then again, be brave, speak up and speak to your sponsor if you need some extra help. So this week we are going to be focusing on the big incentive. So I'm going from, how much do you need right now? £200 for many of us. And then I'm flipping into the biggies. And I want you to get excited about this. I really do, because this business really can, and I know because I've qualified for, some of these incentives that I'm going to share with you, but I also know how tough it can be to work for them. So to qualify for these incentives, you do need to work hard. You do need to be committed to building your business. And that's why this week really is about those. You want to really get out there and see what's possible and go out there and build bigger than you absolutely can using some of the tips that we're going to share with you. But again, it will start with those milestones that I mentioned just now. So the incentives, you should have, most of you should get this when you receive your business in a box. And there should be an incentive brochure in there. And you need to familiarise yourself with these incentives, not only for yourself, but also for those that you're talking to about the opportunity. Because, you might not have big, massive goals. The person that you're talking to might have. And therefore, in order for you to do your job properly, sharing what is possible from the business, you need to get your head around the opportunity itself. So make sure that you've opened that book up and that you've looked through and familiarised. Now, if you are the person that's super keen and prepared to do the work, then maybe look at what incentives are the ones that are going to take you towards what it is you want from the business, and when are you planning to go achieve them. And as it says here, opening them up and putting dates next to each one is a great idea. And I would say really be bold and also be a little bit strategic with it, because we need to make sure that we have a plan. It's all very well and good just writing a date down, but if you're not doing anything about it, then it's a complete and utter waste of time. And how do I know that? Because I've done it myself. I had 2 incentive books, I put dates next to them, and then just sat still waiting for the incentive to come to me. Guess what? It doesn't. It won't do it if you don't know how you're going to achieve it, and if you don't do the work to achieve it. So I'm speaking from experience when I say don't just date it, make sure that you agree what your journey is going to be. And then we've got, what we're going to do is start breaking down some of those incentives. So it starts, as I've talked about, with the basics, and that's being 4 case credit active. Now, it is really important to be 4 case credit active because it is what we get paid off of in terms of our team. So whilst you can come in and do nothing, or you can do a little, that's fine, because if you're making a profit, then that's great. That's what we've just talked about. But if you then want to build a team and you want to earn off of that team, you have to be 4 case credit active. And that's why it pays to make sure that you're earning that 4 case credit in the right way. Because if you're having to create 4 case credits from products that you're using yourself, you're not making profit. And my advice would be make profit from your 4 case credit. You can then teach that to your team, and then you can earn extra money from your team leading and your sponsoring bonuses, which is all going to add into, at the end of the day, the bottom line, which is what you're here to do, run a business and make money. So the 4 case credit pin just really encourages you to be active on a consistent basis. So the level 1 pin is 4 case credits for 3 months. Now I know that we've got Jackie on here this evening, and Jackie just recently got her level 1 pin. And Jackie, you should be so proud of yourself, because it is not the easiest thing in the world to do. Not everybody in my team are 4 case credit active. So if any of you on here have got your level 1 or level 2 or level 3, then give yourself a pat on the back, because it shows that you're building your business consistently and you are leading from the front for anyone that you bring underneath you. The most important thing with that is that you make the money from it. So we want you to be doing that 4 case credit, we want you to do it in the right way. So really well done, Jackie. So level 1 PIM is 4 case credit active for 3 months, level 2 is for 6, and level 3 is for 12. And it has to be every single month. You can't drop out. If you drop out for a month, then you just start from month 1 again. And you'll get a PIN come through and a certificate. And you really should be very proud of that, because that's the starting point in the business. Then we've got our networking professional PIN. So this is where you are recognised for your consistency in recruitment. So this is when you have sponsored, again consistently, so it needs to be every month, a minimum of 6 people across 3 months, and they have to be assistant supervisors. So it has to be the business in a box. It can't be somebody signing up with a clean 9, that won't count. So level 1 is 6 assistant supervisors. So it's 2 a month in 3 months. You can do obviously more, that's absolutely fine, or you could do one month and then more the next, so long as you consistently recruit across those 3 months, and you can achieve that. Level 2 is sponsoring 12 in 6 months, so again it's focusing on 2 a month. And then the level 3 PIN is 24 assistant supervisors in 12 months. Now I think it's really prudent to say at this stage as well, again for anyone that's been around a little while, they will know that up until this point we have been given 2 case credits for anyone that joins with a business in a box. But from the 1st of June, that's going to change in order to take us aligned with the rest of Europe. And because lots of people are looking at us right now, and it is much cheaper for us to start a business in the UK than it is in other parts of the world. So we're just trying to make ourselves aligned. So the changes that will happen is that you will still pay £199.75 for the product. So that won't change. It will still give you your promotion to assistant supervisor. So as soon as you join with a business in a box, you'll get your first promotion. Sponsoring bonus won't change. I believe it starts at £39, so that will be exactly the same. The difference will be that actually you will get 1 case credit from that business in a box, not 2. So if you were looking to do, let's say, I'm going to recruit 1 person a month, and I'm going to retail 2 case credits, and whatever that is worth in obviously cash. That obviously will change now, because you won't get 2 case credits from your recruiting from the 1st of June. So you would just need to bear that in mind in terms of your planning. Now the positive from this is if you work this in the right way, then you should earn more money. Because if for the moment you only need to recruit 1 person to get £39 as an assistant supervisor as a sponsoring bonus, actually you now need to recruit 2 people in order to get your 2 case credits, but actually you're going to earn more money because you're going to duplicate that £39. So you're effectively going to be earning, what are you going to be earning? 39, so 40, 78. Have I done that right? 78, is that right? I don't know. I can't do the maths off the top of my head. You don't need to be bright to run a business, that's for sure. So I think it's £78 that you would earn off the top of my head. So if you recruit 2 people in a month, that's going to give you 2 case credits, but it's going to pay you £78 rather than recruiting just 1 person to get the 2 case credits, if that makes sense. So actually, my earlier conversation about profit, this is a positive if we see it less about case credits and more about earning the money. The only challenge you have is if you've written out plans, you might need to review those plans. If you're brand spanking new to recruiting, it's not going to make a jot of difference to you, and it won't make a bit of difference to any new people that are joining either. Okay, so level 2, as I said, 12 assistant supervisors in 6 months, and level 3 is 24 in 12. And as you can see from that picture, you get our very, very popular yellow suitcase. And that is given out to you at Success Day. So it's really exciting. Lots of people will be traipsing around with their yellow suitcase. So if you are keen to achieve this, again, you need to just build this into your plan. So 100 Club. So 100 Club is open business. This basically means anyone in your business who isn't a manager. So it is what they say, it's a seed bed of growing managers. So Diana Page says, if you are 100 case credits open, you have got a developing manager coming through. That's statistically kind of how it is. You might have more, but you'll have a minimum of one person who has the capability to be a manager and will go on to be a manager. So 100 Club really is important. And the different levels at which you can achieve this is, so you've got level 1, which means you've done 100 case credits for 3 months consistently. Again, you can't drop out. If you drop out, then you'll need to rejoin again. Level 2 is 6 months, and level 3 is 12 months. Now, what you get for these, the first level, you're going to get a pin and the certificate that comes, so much like the 4 case credit pin. Level 2, though, which gets really exciting, is you get an iPad, and you get that iPad engraved as well. And level 3, you get £400 worth of travel vouchers, and there are actually extra levels in addition to that, and it is just more travel vouchers that you get as you keep going and staying in 100 Club. So think about that. If you're looking at this business really seriously and you want to develop managers coming through, then get yourself 100 case credits of open business, non-manager. So if you don't have a manager in your business, every case credit counts as open business. As soon as you've got a manager, it's anything outside of that that counts towards 100 Club. Again, any questions that you've got, just fire them through on the chat box, guys, because I know this is a lot to take in when we've been talking about 4 case credits for many. So there we go. I jumped ahead. We've got level 4 there, 450, level 5, 500, level 6, 600. So, it's a really good incentive, some really great prizes. Now we've got Forever to Drive. So this is our car plan. It's extra money to receive each month, and you can use it for what you wish. Most people tend to use it to lease or buy a car, but you don't have to. You can use it for whatever you want. So level 1, you get an extra 263 a month. Level 2, 394 a month, and level 3, 525. So really similar. If anyone's ever had cash allowance from a company for a car, then these are pretty much in line with what you could go and lease a vehicle for. So it's a really nice incentive if anyone wants a new car. This is a great one to go for. What it hasn't just told you is what it is that you need to do in order to be able to achieve it. And certainly for level 1, what you need is 50 case credits, then 100 case credits, and then 150. So it's across, basically, you don't have to do it in 3 months. You just need to have done each of those levels. So for example, if in January you did 50 case credits, and then in February you did 50, and then in March you did 100, and then for the next 3 months you did 100, that's fine. And then you did 150, that would qualify you. So it's just keeping and sustaining the level at which of month 2 of that. Again, if you need me to explain it again, then shout, but just check in that incentive brochure. So for any of you that were watching Global Rally, you'll have heard that our Eagle Manager Retreat has just been announced for 2017. So in 2015 it was in Cancun, Lake Tahoe in 2014, and this year in September, because it's always September that the Eagle Manager Retreat, it is in Costa Navarino in Greece, and this is my first Eagle Manager Retreat that I qualified for. So this was an incentive that I ticked off and put dates next to, and I had no idea. I took no notice of what it was that I needed to do, and I really didn't track it and didn't put the work in. But this year, I said, or 2015, I said I was going to qualify for this, and I built a plan. and I executed. It takes 12 months. You've got 12 months to qualify for Eagle Manager, and I did it in 6. So I'm not telling you that to kind of, make myself sound great. That's not it at all, because for many years I didn't achieve it. Actually, what it does is if you put your mind to something, then you can absolutely achieve it. And I'm confident that every single one of you, with the right attitude and the right plan, can do the same. So it's across, as I say, 12 months. It starts on the 1st of May. So we've literally just kicked off the new incentive period, and it finishes on the 30th of April. So you have to be a manager to qualify for this. So if you're sitting there and you've seen that next year's trip, which is the cruise liner, so Forever have hired a cruise liner all to ourselves, and we're going on a tour of Barcelona, Monte Carlo and Rome, which would be amazing, then you've got to get yourself to manager as quickly as possible, because it's as soon as you hit manager that your case credits will count towards this retreat. So I can show you how you can qualify for Eagle Manager, and for anyone that's sitting, that you could have started today, you can absolutely qualify for Eagle Manager if you put the work in. You would need to get yourself to manager, I would say, by September, probably latest, this year. So you need to be working a 5-month plan to manager, which I'm going to share with you in a moment. So if you really want it, then you need to reach out, get in touch with me and your sponsor, because I am working with a number of people right now that are looking to qualify for this. So that's Eagle Manager. Then you've got Global Rally. So Global Rally is a bit different. Global Rally is where we you can qualify with your total case credits, and you can also qualify by achieving chairman's bonus. So there's 2 ways to end up getting 2 free tickets to go along to wherever it is that we are hosting it. So you can see here again, we had Hawaii, we had Singapore, and this year it's been Johannesburg. And next year we've just announced it will be Dubai. It's always in April. So Global Rally's in April, Eagle Manager Retreat in September. And you need to do, as I say, either qualify for chairman's bonus, or you need to do a minimum of 1,500 case credits in total business. So you can qualify, this includes manager length as well, if you've got any manager length in your business. So you literally tally it up, and it starts from the 1st of January right the way through to the end of the year. So this is a harder one for anyone that's not a manager yet. This is a harder one to achieve this year. That's me being honest. I'm not saying it's impossible, because people have come in and done some bonkers things. But realistically, to build a plan when they're sort of 5 months into the year to achieve 1,500 case credits is more challenging. But Eagle Manager is definitely possible, as is Global Rally, with those that are really super committed and want to go, mega fast. Chairman's bonus for me is the biggie. This is a life changer, because this is a share of the company's profits given out to just, ordinary people. Normally you'd need to be board level, a shareholder in a business in order to be able to achieve it. She would be a 6-figure earner minimum, and have, been working in whatever role you're in for a number of years in order to qualify for this. But we've seen people come in and achieve chairman's bonus quite quickly within their first year. Again, it's really, you mustn't ever compare yourself, because everybody is different and is building their businesses at different rates. But it is important to say that it is possible, because people have done it. But this, if you build the plan in the right way, can make a massive difference. I look at chairman's bonus as clearing my debts. I look at chairman's bonus as really setting up some projects that I really want to embark on as a family. So, I'd really love to invest in property. I'd like to clear those debts. I'd like to start clearing my mortgage. And for me, it's possible with chairman's bonus if you structure it right and you understand it. So again, if you're excited by this and you really want a chunk of it, then you really just need to reach out to me and reach out to your sponsor and see what it is that you need to do in order to be able to achieve it, because it's massively exciting. And you can see there's a selection of the checks that were given out last year, and obviously we've given out a load more this year. And interestingly, if you look at, if I just pull Natalie Healy out, Natalie Healy in, 2014, I think it was, 2014, I believe her check was $45,000. Last year it was $682,000, And then this year it was over $1 million. That's ridiculous amounts of growth. These Perry things, huge amounts of growth. You know, these guys are building their businesses in the right way, and it is possible to do. So Rev VIP Club, you get this by achieving Chairman's Bonus, Global Rally or Eagle Manager. So I'm super excited. For some reason, I wanted this dangling around my neck quite early on when I started. You get the lanyard and the VIP, and it gives you access to a number of things, so you don't have to queue for certain stuff. You get invited along to special evenings like champagne evenings, special trainings, etc. And the criteria runs from 1st of January to the 31st of December. So I'm excited that as a first time Eagle Manager, I will be qualifying as a VIP. So I'm hoping I'll pick up my VIP lanyard at Success Day. So, you know, these incentives are great financially, but they're exciting as well. They do give you a kind of a little bit of a buzz. So, you know, take it from me, they're worth working towards. Okay, so how do we get there? Well, we get there by understanding what it is that we need to do. You know, I've said this to many, many people before. It is all very well and good saying where you want to go, but if you have no idea at all what your plan is to get you there, your journey, then you're going to struggle because you're just going to drift and you're going to waste really, really precious time. And I've just told you that's exactly what I did. So volume mapping is a visual plan of your entire business, and it's an agreed plan of action that you make with yourself as to what you're going to do to achieve your end destination, wherever that might be. So why would you do it? It puts you in control. You know what it is you need to do each week, each month, each quarter, and it allows you to see the bigger picture as well, so you can see what it is that you're working towards. You can better support your team members by understanding volume mapping and then showing them how to do it. And it makes sure you don't miss an opportunity, because if you don't understand the incentives, if you don't understand the case credits that are required for each level, then you could be 2 case credits away from car plan. Because you don't know that it's 150 and you're sitting on 148, you could miss a really, really, really valuable opportunity. So bear that in mind as well. And as it says at the bottom, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's, you know, very, very well known. So let's assume you're sitting there right now and you're excited about going on the cruise, the Eagle Manager Retreat in September 2017. Now, I've just told you that you need to be a manager, and I've said to you that if we really want to get the case credits that you need to be an Eagle Manager, and I'm not going to get into what it is you need, you can read that in the incentive book and you can reach out to me and I can tell you, but I'm telling you, you need to be a manager ASAP. And ideally, I would say by September, probably. So May, June, July, August, September, 5 months. There you go. Now we're already halfway through the month, don't forget. So this just really breaks down a 5-month plan to manager. So in the first month, what we say is that you really need to be doing 5 to 10 case credits. Now, 5 case credits is fine. So really, if you're sitting there and you've just been 4 case credit active up till now, then you just need to raise the bar by that extra case credit. Remember the exercise I said at the beginning. What do you need to do to get that extra case credit? Maybe it's recruiting an extra person. Maybe it's developing some more customers and you're going to make money out of this. We don't want you to be buying in product for yourself. We want you to be earning money. Remember that. So month 1 would be the 5 case credit, and you need to understand what does that look like in terms of money. Month 2, 15 case credits. Month 3, 30. Month 4, 50. Month 5, 70. Now there is an absolutely brilliant training that Ange Lochran has done that is on our team page that breaks down, I think it's on our team page. If you can't find it, then please do message me. But it breaks down this 5-month plan brilliantly on a video, and it's really nice and visual to watch. So it'd be great to watch this in addition to this training. Because this assumes that you are going to be recruiting each month, and you're going to be recruiting a minimum of 2 people. Now, the challenge that we now have is that obviously we are getting less case credits for our recruiting. So we've halved our case credits. So if we had said, previously we might have said recruit 2 and do 1 case credit in retail, we're not going to say that now. What we're going to say is recruit 2, because that will give you 2 case credits because you've recruited those 2 people. but then do a minimum of 3 case credits of retail in your business. So if you're working on that 5 case credit mentality personally, this is if you're developing yourself as a business leader and a team leader, and you're looking at recruiting every month. So that's 5 case credits, 2 recruits, and 3 case credits of retail. Bear in mind what we've just talked about in terms of what you want to generate from your retailing in terms of profit. 3 case credits is a given, because we've said make sure you're 4 case credit active with your products, and then any recruiting in addition to that is extra. So if you did 4 case credits in retail, made that £333 in profit, maybe you're going to do your personal on top of that. Plus, if you recruited 2, you're going to be well on your way to 6, 7, 8 case credits personal. And then if you coach that principle down to other people, you can start to see how these 15 and these 30 cases are totally possible. So month 1, let's look at a 10 case credit plan, for example. So this says here, so we're not including the cash value, okay? We talked about it again, we're talking in pure case credits. So we always work on for best or low or pride or high. What it basically means is worst case scenario, what am I going to bring in, which is your pride, what am I striving for, which is your high. So here we've said personal of 1 case credit, high of 1.5, retailing 2 or 3, perhaps 1 to 2, clean 9, 2 to 4, repeat customer none to 0.5, because it's a new business. This is assuming this is a new team member. And obviously the sponsoring bonus has changed because from the 1st of June we're going to get less, but throughout May we will still get 2 case credits for everyone that we recruit. So if you look at this, what we should be doing is breaking down on a volume map when are our product launches going to be. So product launches times 2, in my eyes, is not enough. We need to be really clear on when those product launches are going to be done. So if someone said product launch times 2, I'd want to know the dates. Otherwise, as far as I'm concerned, it's not on your volume map. So there's your pups, same principle. When are you going to get your pup boxes out? How many are you going to get out in that month, that week? Break it down. And then the same with clean 9. How many are you intending to sell in order to develop these case credits? Now, what you could do is you could create an extra column here, and you could work out how much profit this is going to give you. So then you can start to be really, really focused on ensuring that you're making money from generating this. So, your personal, work out what is it costing you. Because if it's personal, that's your loss. That will be a minus figure up here. If it's your retail and you did 2 case credits or 3, how much are you going to make of that? How much profit? How much profit from your pup boxes? How much profit from your clean 9s? How much from your repeat? And if you sponsor 2 people, how much are you going to make in sponsoring bonus? And that will tell you, you can add that up, so you can have a 3rd column, and you can add that up and write down what your profit is going to be. So if I was you, I would start adding this into your volume mapping, and also the same with your team. So that was your plan, and then in month 1 actual, you did 11 case credits, and here's the breakdown. So you literally write your actual next to it, and again, you could do the same with the cash. So you could do your pride, your high, and what you envisage it's going to cost or bring in. And then you could do your actual case credits and your actual revenue. And you can start tracking that each month. And this would be a really, really great way to start working. And what this has done is she's actually recruited 2 people. So she's now got Claire and John in the team. So the team has grown. There's now 3 of them in the team at the end of month 1, which is exactly the structure that you want if you're going to make this 5-month plan work and you're going to get Eagle Manager. So we're going to month 2 with Claire and John, and what we're going to do is we're going to coach Claire and John to do exactly the same as what we've been doing. So you can then see the plan broken down. So again, if we added in the cash value, we might say to John, like we asked ourselves at the beginning, how much do you need to be making right now in order to make this worth your while? So break it down. How much is John going to earn from this? How much is he going to be paying out? And how much is he going to be earning? And what does that bring him in? And how quickly can we get him that small amount of money that he's looking for? So this is 3 of you. And because you've planned this out in the way that we talked about on the previous slide, what ends up happening here is is you've said, as a pride, 9.5 for you, a pride for John, 10, and a pride for Claire, 6.5. And what actually, if you add that up, that gives you a team total of 26 case credits or 47.5. And I believe, I'm not sure if I'm right. Yes, month 2 actual. You said 26 was what you worst case would be. Your high was 47, but actually what the team did between them was 30 case credits, and you only need 25 over a 2-month period in order to get your first promotion. So you've now qualified as a supervisor, but you only managed to do that because you broke down a really, really effective plan with each of your people, and then you showed them what it is they need to do in order to achieve those case credits and obviously that cash value in terms of revenue. So that was month 2. And you literally go on throughout the plan. So for month 3 is 30 case credits. Where is that going to come from? You should still be recruiting 2 a month. So you should be looking at recruiting 2 a month, and you should be coaching that principle down to your team, and that's how your team is going to grow. And Ange covers that really visually in her training, which is brilliant. So if you want me to get that up on the team page, then please do shout. Volume mapping tips, you plan from the bottom up. So you begin with the end in mind. You know, I use the analogy, and don't make any apology for it. You know, if you're travelling to a place, might be Scotland, and you know what time you need to be there, and you know what it is you need to do in order to get there, then you work backwards from that. If you know you need to be there next Monday at 4 o'clock, and it's going to take you however long to get there, what are the means of travel, and where do you need to leave at what time in order to be able to get where it is you're intending to go to. So you begin with the end in mind. I need to be here at that time. So I now, in terms of my milestones, I might need to be at the airport at this time to catch that flight that's going to get me there. So you then agree the exact same with each of your team members. Have high expectations on yourself. You know, raise the bar with regards to them, but, you know, be kind with it, because some people will need their hand held a little bit more than others. Some will just run and do it on their own. Your job is to support them and help them, but your job is not for them to become dependent on you. Remember, our job as coaches is to create independence, not dependence. So you can hold someone's hand, but you've got to be prepared to let it go and let them find and be empowered on their own journey to developing themselves, much like a child, really. You know, encouraging those first few steps. Think about what parents do with a child. That's your job as a coach when you are volume mapping, showing what's possible, showing them where that end destination is, and then working backwards and planning from the bottom up. And then you monitor that activity and you hold them accountable. Now, you know, sometimes you'll get somebody that says they're going to do a lot and then they don't actually go away and do it. And again, it's no different. You can't expect to give your time to somebody who's not doing the work that they need to. Now, you need to understand why they're not doing that work. Is there anything at all that they need help with? But if it's their desire and their lack of motivation, then it may be that actually there isn't a lot more that you can do for them. And that's a really important lesson to learn quite early on when you're building a team, because you have to think about what your time is worth. And if you are spending more time wanting something for someone than they want it for themselves, then that's not good use of your time, and it's a business at the end of the day. Think about what your hourly rate is and whether or not it's good value and good use of your time to be spending it. So really think about that when you're supporting your team. And then also focusing each person on how this month is a step towards their goals. So remembering what I said, it's milestones all of the way. And the important thing is, and I struggled with this because I think one of the challenges I've always had throughout my career is, if I did it in my exams, if I think I've got a long time to achieve something, there's no sense of urgency there for me, and I think that's why I missed a lot of the incentives in the earlier days, because I didn't see the importance on the month that I'm in to my 10-month goal. So it's like managing a project. You know that if you've got a project that you need to be doing, if you speak to any project manager, they'll know that this project has got to be delivered on this date and at this time. But actually, it's the work that they do each month that will ensure that that project finishes when it should be, or if not before. It's no different with volume up in your business. If you want a desired outcome, it's the work that you put in today that is a little stepping stone, a little stepping stone, a little stepping stone. And you need to understand that, and your team need to understand that. If you don't do the work this month, that means you're a month behind. If you don't do the work next month, you're now 2 months behind. How are you going to make up that volume that you need in order to achieve your goal? Take positive action to replace any missing case credits. Understand where these case credits are going to come from. Understand where this cash value, revenue, profit is going to come through. And only volume up act as FBOs. I'd like to think that we've been on a journey in the team, and I do believe that the team know that they will only get my support if I can see them doing the work. And it's hard sometimes because, you know what, I work with some really lovely, amazing people in the team, but I can't want it more than they can. And sometimes you'll plan somebody out and they just want to get replanned when actually all they need to do is go back and do what they said they were going to do when you first sat down with them. So just bear that in mind. There's only so much hand holding you can do. And then you'd be grateful for the other people. I have got lots of people in my business they have this as a hobby. You know, they might be buying discounted products and they might have a couple of customers and they're happy with that. They don't want to do anything more with that. And I am incredibly appreciative of those. And I will support them, but I don't have to spend a lot of time with them. They know what they need to do. And if they ever want anything more, then they can come talk to me and they can jump in on anything that we run in terms of support and training. Now, if you want to be a senior manager, this is saying that if you want to build a business that is really a residual income, so, you know, a business that's going to give you security for the future, then you need to make sure that you've got a minimum of 2 manager legs, because that then gives you stability. But you also want to have 5 really strong active legs that are working towards this position. This will then mean that you're structured for chairman's bonus. And, you know, until you have a manager in your team, your business is fragile, really fragile, because you might have a lot of hobbyists in your team. You might have a few people want to earn a couple of £100, which is great. You want lots of them, but you also want managers that might have walked away from, you know, day jobs that are completely committed to working this business, you know, very seriously. And that's where your security comes for the future of yourself and for your family. The habits of a leader, just quickly to flick, because I'm conscious we've gone over slightly, so I'm just going to whiz through these. You know, the habits of a leader are you lead from the front. You cannot ask anyone in your team to do anything that you're not prepared to do yourself. And you need to be 6 case credit active each month. A minimum of 5, I would say, but, you know, 6 case credit plus. For me, that's when I know I'm leading from the front, when I'm doing my job properly and I can feel really content that what I'm asking my team to do, I'm doing. I need to show up at the events and make sure that I'm encouraging other people to attend and be committed to the goals that I'm working towards, and committed to recruiting and prospecting each month, if that's what I'm looking to do in terms of leading a big team. And also being just committed to doing whatever it takes, and just, you know, borrowing belief if I need to, but making sure that I share the belief I might have in somebody who might not yet have discovered the confidence for themselves. And I'm really committed to that sort of success journey. I am a bookworm, so I'm kind of answering these questions as I go along. I do like to read books, as most of you will know, and attend the right trainings, the trainings that I think are going to add value to me in the long run. And, you know, a leader will learn from doing rather than waiting for someone to do it for them. I know when I've got a good person because they're chasing me. I know right now I've got some people in the team I probably owe a message to, and they'll be really courteous and respectful of my time, but they will also chase me or just drop a little hint that I might not come back from them. That is the habit of a leader. That person that's not leading will just leave it because they'll wait for me to come and chase them. And they wouldn't say, I would if I could. They say, if I can, I will, and I'm going to make it happen. And it's the person that will go over, under, through and will be very, very solution orientated in their approach. And they know that failure is just not an option for them. And they'll embrace change. You know, I've got some amazing people that we're working with right now who, and I love this team because we all have a day where we might have a bit of a pity party, or, you know, we might just be feeling down about something. But I know that I've got emerging leaders that go, take a change with the case credits. We could have all thrown our toys out of the pan, gone, oh gosh, that really affects our plan, blah, blah, blah. But actually, let's see the positive, because we can make more money from it. And that's embracing change and asking yourself, how far can I take myself, and what can I do with this situation to benefit from it? But they are massively disciplined. And I know this has been my challenge over the years, because when you've got other stuff going on, it's really easy to get distracted, and the discipline and the lack of discipline will hold you back. So I also think if you're doing something else, if you've got a full-time job, another business or family, the discipline is really important, because you might only be working this in pockets of time. And if you get distracted by stuff and you lack that discipline and that focus, then you're not going to get the best out of your time. So, you know, the habits of those awesome leaders is that they nail it. If they've got an hour, they'll get more out of that hour than anybody else. And they won't fail, and they'll create daily disciplines to make sure that they create new habits, because it's the habits then that will just make sure that you're disciplined anyway, because you'll do it regardless. And they learn the system, so they'll start working through this. Who do I know? My contacting, information, the BP, questions, pre-planning, planning, and manager, which is what we learn really, really early on in the process. So starts out by, you know, identifying who we're going to speak to. We contact them, we share some information, we invite them to the BP, we answer their questions, we get them in the pre-planning phase, we plan them, and then we outline that manager position that they want to go and achieve. And they will take action. They're going to find that 20 seconds of insane courage, and they go out there and they'll do it, even though they're terrified. Because they say, you know, it's not that they're not fearful, they're probably as frightened as those that don't do it. The difference being is that they'll do it anyway, because they're completely committed to doing the action that will take them to wherever it is they strive to be. So they just get on with it. They'll take the responsibility, and again, they're just really leading from the front. Focus on the end result, as we've talked about. And they'll overcome doubts. We all have doubts, guys, all of us, every day. And it's literally, I say to people, it's about which is the strongest voice that's coming across on each of your shoulders, because you will have a voice that will tell you you can't do it. You'll have a voice that will say, it won't work. I can't achieve this. I'm not like the rest of them. But it's the other voice that drowns that one out. And that's the one that really you need to be building on, and making sure you're not kind of getting too close to too much negativity. Anyone that's doubting you or putting you down, all of that's going to bring that kind of, doubtful shoulder, much more apparent for you. So you need to really, really work on that. A couple of analogies that I've used recently, just this week, it's around your recovery time. If you do find yourself falling into a pothole, as I like to call it, you're going along a road, it's about being really clear about what your potholes are. So what are the things that are going to catch you out, that are going to pull you back, that are going to make you question yourself, question what you're doing? That's your pothole. And we've all got different potholes. Some of us might have some that are the same. But you need to see those potholes ahead of the time that they dawn on you. And I think the more you understand about yourself, the more self-aware you can become, you'll be much clearer at identifying those potholes in advance and doing your best to steer around them. If you do end up in the pothole, it's really about how quickly you recover. Do you allow yourself to submerge in this pity party for a huge amount of time? Or actually to go, do you know what, I'm in my pothole, today's a bad day, I'm just going to write it off, and tomorrow's a brand new start. That's the recovery that you want. And that really is all about, just working on that mindset and working through, when you put yourself into anything that's new and a bit scary, we just need to really build on whatever we can to make us as strong and resilient as possible. It's that mental strength, really. And it's also about being connected to what it is you're going after, because that will keep you going when the going gets tough, really. So this is all around the communication. We've talked about this throughout the whole 6 weeks, you know, the absolute importance of nailing your communication, you know, really, really understand. I'm going to do more of this as I work through the work that I'm doing with Phil as well, because he is the master in communication. Anything you can get your hands on from Phil Jones around magic words, honestly, it amazes me. I've sat and listened to him, and there isn't an area or an objection that he can't overcome. So any of his material you can get online, you can get on audio, you can get in writing. You know, it will really help you in terms of your communication. And we know that we need to feed our minds, as I've just talked about. What sort of stuff are you putting in there? Are you visualising what it is that you want to go after? Do you believe in all of that kind of stuff? If not, why not? You know, what is it that's putting you off? And you know, let's try and get you visualising what it is that you want, even if right now it is an extra £200 a month. But we need to be really clear that that's what you're working towards. And then that persistence and consistency will come because you've got the desire there. You know, I was chatting to a friend of mine today whose stepdaughter is a really naturally talented horse rider. She's only young. And we were saying that she stopped riding. And I said, what a shame. And we were saying, yeah, because she's, you know, she's got this natural talent. But at the end of the day, she doesn't have the desire. It doesn't matter how talented you are. If you don't have the hunger and the desire, you won't even bother to do any of the things that it lists on there. So really kind of figure out how hungry and how much desire do you have. And obviously that is relevant and relative to however much money you want to earn, because you obviously need to have a little bit more hunger and desire. The bigger the incomes you want to earn, you're going to have to work harder and come up against more potholes that you need to get out of. And as it says here, leaders will always look for reasons for doing what needs to be done rather than finding excuses. You know, I have always been very proud to be the person that when I go to my boss, I go with a solution. I might identify what my problem is, but I will do my utmost to come up with a solution. What I'm not going to go to my boss with is a stack of excuses why I can't do something. Because if I'm doing that, then I don't deserve to be having that conversation. That's always been my attitude. And I really encourage that in all of you as you're starting your journeys and as you're becoming leaders. Think about the solution. Think about when you're asking the question, identify what you think is the answer and what you think will be the solution to your challenge. And come from a place of contribution, because that, I think, sticks us true to our values, and it's also much, much more fulfilling to be able to give back and care about others. And if we are sitting planning someone and seeing case credits on their head because we're thinking of ourselves, something's gone horribly wrong. We need to be thinking, completely removing ourselves from the scenario and thinking about what's right for them and supporting them on their journey. And finally, those big leaders will have that vision, have their goals, they'll have made that plan, they'll have worked backwards with the end in mind, but all of that is no good unless they take massive action, and I mean massive. You know, if you're wanting these incentives, you can't take mediocre action, you have to take massive action. And you do that by using the product, understanding, as we've talked about, the breakdown of what it is you need to be doing with those products in order to generate the cash flow that you need. You will then be marketing the opportunity alongside that and coaching your team to do the same. And while you're doing that, you're going to be developing yourself to be the best leader that you can possibly be. There's a great tool on the QLS site even called Activities for Success, and I really recommend that you go in and download this and score yourself honestly of a 1 to 10. Because what this will do is it'll identify a personal development plan. It will help your sponsor to say, right, where is it that you're struggling? Where is it you're avoiding? Where is it you feel really uncomfortable? And what are your strengths? What naturally can you just do with your eyes closed? So this is a really, really good sheet, irrespective where you're at on your journey, to download and get sent over. And certainly if I'm working closely with anyone right now, I would love for you to do this and just send across a snapshot for me just on Messenger or WhatsApp would be super. And that leads us really to your success, because it is your journey We've done 6 weeks of this training. You know that this is going to be back on again, but it's really important that you haven't just sat through it and not taken massive action. So if need be, go back over the previous weeks. Go back and look at what is it that I'm not doing, and you could start with your activities for success, as I've just shown you. Look at those and then work back and see what you need to do differently, and go speak to your sponsor, come to me if need be, and then we can help put together a plan. But it's about the action, and it's about all of the things that we've talked about tonight. So thank you very much. I know we've gone slightly over. Before you go, I want you to make sure that this week you've got a 7-day plan, and that you know who it is that you're going to be speaking to, whether that's to do with the products and or the business. Write the names down. It's all about consistency. And one last thing I'm going to say to you is, even if you're sitting there unsure of whether you have the capability or the desire to develop people within your downline, a very, very simple thing was taught to us by Phil Jones, and has made already a big difference to a number of us, particularly me. I've had quite a lot of interest from this, and I've got a number of appointments in the diary as a result. So grab your pen and paper and literally write down, do you happen to know of anybody with some extra hours in the week who would like to earn an extra couple of £100 a month? That's it. Now you can, I'll say that again, do you happen to know of anybody who has a few extra hours in the week and would like to earn an extra couple of £100 a month? That's it. So you can include that in a conversation that you might be having with a friend, either over a message or face to face. One thing I've been doing this week that's worked really well for me is using Facebook Messenger, but using the voice rather than the text. So you can record up to a minute on Facebook Messenger, and it's unlimited, I think, on WhatsApp where you can record. And I just find I'm getting better results with that. So rather than sending a message, I'll record them a little voice message, and I might just check in and just go, hey, how you doing? Hope all is well. Hope, children, blah, 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 all of the niceties. And then I'll go, quick favour, just wondering, do you happen to know of anyone, exactly what I've just said, in your network right now who might have a few hours spare and would be open to an extra £200 a month working alongside me? That's all I've said. And a number of people have come back and said, no, can't think of anyone. Lots of people have come back and said, tell me what it is that you need and I'll go look for it. And others have come back and said, actually, yeah, me. And then we've booked in a coffee over a one-to-one. So listen, it works. So go do that. Don't be shy. Write down who you're going to do that with this week. Include any niceties that you need to. This needs to be authentic. You're asking them a favour. So that's just a little tip. Make sure you've got a 7-day plan. And then next week at 8 o'clock, we're going to skip week 1. So we're not going to start week 1 of the professional networker training until, have a look. Right, so week 1 professional networker training is actually going to be on the Tuesday, the 31st of May, because it's a bank holiday on the Monday. But next week, what we're going to do is something a bit different. So I'm all about personal development. And I mentioned recently that I'm going to start doing these Sorbus hubs. And that is going to be the members of the team will come on for 15 minutes and share, maybe with some slides or without, a subject that they think is going to add value to you guys. So we're starting next week with the very lovely Lindsay Cronin, who's going to come on and do that. But instead of then doing a training, I'm then going to do a live Q&A. So if you've got any questions at all that you want to ask, I will do my utmost to answer them. And if I can't answer them, I'll go find the answer for you. I'm going to get Lindsay to open a file on the team page. So if you've got any questions, you can just start popping them in there so I can start responding to them. But you can ask on the night as well via the chat. So encourage as many of your team on as possible, because it doesn't matter what stage they're at, they can jump on and get some questions answered. Obviously, keep them positive and solution orientated, ideally, okay? But I will do my best. So I hope that'll be useful. and I look forward to seeing you next week. Go put your plans into action, guys, and if you want to go for Eagle and you're not already talking to me about it, then just reach out and get in touch and we will get you a plan together. All right, take care and speak soon. Bye bye.